9 games into the MLS TFC career of Chris Armas, and this team is 1-2-6, sitting on just 5 points from 9 games, and is currently second last in the Eastern Conference. Which means it is time for us to have a discussion. It is past due for us to have a discussion about what is going on with Chris Armas. After over a month of looking for a coach, because Greg Vanney stepped down on December 1st of 2020, and Chris Armas was hired in mid-January of 2021, TFC spent over a month looking for a coach to hire for one of the most prestigious coaching jobs in Major League Soccer. You get to coach Toronto FC, the team that just came second place in the Supporters' Shield standings, the team that went to the finals of 2019 to MLS Cup final, the team that went to the finals in 2016 and 2017, the team that won the 2017 MLS Cup. And this is one of the most prestigious jobs in MLS. Get to coach the reigning MLS MVP in Alejandro Pozuelo. And they hired, after a month and a half of searching, Ali Curtis's guy from New York Red Bulls, Chris Armas. And it has just been disaster after disaster, controversy after controversy. There are 4 main topics that I want to get on for Chris Armas already in his Toronto FC career. Just not even about his play, just 4 main controversies about what he's done. Number 1, Quentin Westberg. Quentin Westberg, throughout Greg Vanney's last 2 seasons in Toronto FC, 2019, he took the starting job from Alex Bono. He was absolutely fantastic. Keeping the team in game after game after game was a major reason, probably the biggest reason, why that team made it to MLS Cup, accumulating in him stopping a Josef Martinez penalty in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then through 2020, same thing from Quentin Westberg. Amazing the whole way through. Alex Bono is a good keeper, but Quentin Westberg, through 2 seasons under Greg Vanney, was playing out of his damn mind. And then this season, Chris Armas comes in. First game to start the season against Lyon, Alex Bono was in net. And you know, that's fine. Quentin Westberg was away, missed the start of camp when they flew down to Florida. Apparently, it has now come out that the reason for that was he was one of the players who got COVID in the original Toronto FC training camp, and then his whole family had COVID, so he was staying with them while they were recovering. That's fine. What happened after that, though, is up until the international break, through 11 games in 2 competitions, playing midweek games in multiple competitions, 4 Champions League games, and 7 Major League Soccer games, Chris Armas played Alex Bono 11 times. All of them. Quentin Westberg, he doesn't play once, despite saying at the beginning of the season in a press conference, we have 2 number 1 goalies in Westberg and Bono. Which, okay, that's fine. You can have 2 number 1 goalies. Bono and Westberg are both very, very good goalies in Major League Soccer. However, to go 11 matches. Sorry, I was going to try and one take each of these points, and my mic ran out of battery halfway through that rant. But, where was I? Oh yeah. Bono, I get saying that Bono is your number 1 guy. If you're Chris Armas, you want to come in and say, Bono's my guy. But to go 11 games and not play the other coach's number 1, who was fantastic through 2 seasons, not even once. You don't even want to look at him. What the heck is that? Like, what sort of egotistical trip is that? Especially when Bono hasn't been playing well, and Bono is making some mistakes which are costing you some games, and you're doubling down on him despite very heavy criticism, not just from fans, but from media and even a bit within the organization, from Quentin Westberg himself, who was visibly pissed off sitting on the bench, to say, I'm not switching it, and I'm going to stick in with Bono because he's my guy, and I need Bono to prove me right, and I'm not going to change to Westberg. What was going on there? And now I get you can say, oh, but now Quentin Westberg is starting. Yes, after the international break, Quentin Westberg has had the first 2 starts, which the only reason why I can think of that happened is over the international break, Westberg probably went to either Ali Curtis or hell, even Bill Manning and said either play me or trade me or sell me to somewhere else where I will play. Because Quentin Westberg on most teams in MLS is a starting goaltender and is playing most of the games. So he definitely, over the break, at some point, had a conversation with them and said, play me or trade me. And Curtis or Manning went to Armas and said, you have to play Westberg or else we're selling him. And we don't want to sell Westberg because Quentin Westberg was a very important piece in that 2019 puzzle and that 2020 puzzle. But just the sheer sticking in with your choice because it was your choice. Because it's the only way I can see, the only thing that makes sense in him just sticking in with Bono for 11 straight games. I like Bono. I don't think you should play Bono 11 straight games over Westberg. It's just bizarre to me. That's just the first in many bizarre choices. The second bizarre Chris Armas choice is the trying to force a style of play on this team that they're not built to play. You have Pozuelo, you have Osorio, you have Delgado, you have Michael Bradley. These are guys who are good at controlling the ball, getting it played out wide, good at lateral, side-to-side passing plays, controlling the ball, controlling possession, and we saw that under Greg Vanney. Armas comes in, and he wants to play a vertical, lawn balls up style, not a lot of building out, and then he wants to also play a high press, and also just the idea to immediately switch to a high press. I like the idea of a high press. The problem is he's not sticking to the high press. Even now, if you watch the last TFC game, are they playing a high press? They're not. They've switched. He doesn't stick to the high press even within the same game. He presses for like the first 30 minutes, and he's just like, okay, we can't. Because in MLS, as much as I dislike to say it, in a lot of MLS situations, a lot of MLS teams don't have the depth and don't have just the overall physical ability to keep a press running for 90 minutes all game, every game. They're going to tire out, they're going to get injuries. We saw that at the beginning of the season in training camp. Chris Mavinga hurt, Alejandro Pozuelo hurt, Jonathan Osorio hurt, Ayo Akinola hurt, Josie Altidore hurt. Just all these players in Armas's training camp prior to the Champions League games all got hurt because of him trying to force this vertical pressing style on these guys who aren't built to play that style, who aren't meant to play that style. It can work. You can make players play outside of a system, but you can make one or two guys play outside of a system that they're usually comfortable with. You can't force a whole team of guys who are comfortable with one system to play another system. Third point, play the kids. All winter break, all we were hearing from Toronto FC regarding the fact that they hadn't made very many or any signings, honestly. They hadn't made a single damn signing all winter until Soteldo and Dom Dwyer. All we heard was play the kids, how they were going to play Schaffelberg, how they were going to play Prizo, Akello, Marshall Ruddy, how they were going to lean on these youngsters. And beginning of the season starts, those first two Champions League games against Lyon, they did. Luke Singh was in that game, was looking great. Schaffelberg was in that game looking great. Prizo, Akello, both in those games, both looking really, really good. Jaden Nelson then comes back from being hurt a bit at the beginning of the season, and he's playing a bit in the first couple MLS games. And you know, first few MLS games, the kids are getting played quite a bit. And then they slowly start getting phased out. And we start seeing Delgado out on the right wing, out of position. Aro in the center midfield. You have Noble Akello. You have Ralph Prizo. You have Marky Delgado playing on the right wing. Those are three natural center kind of defensive midfielders who can play that position. And you're putting Aro there when you only have really three true fullbacks. I mean, four with Justin Morrow, but he's kind of getting old and not really being played there as much. That's not playing the kids. That's playing guys out of position to not play the kids. And now, looking at the last game, who started? Ayo Akinola started. That's it in terms of the kids. And Ayo Akinola isn't even really one of the kids anymore because he's a number one striker for us, basically, with Altidore being Josie Altidore. So Ayo Akinola, the guy who is the established #1 striker coming in for Chris Armas, is the only kid getting regular play time. And like if you look at our last game against Nashville, the kids weren't there. He puts in Morrow at left wing instead of Schaffelberg, with Schaffelberg sitting on the bench. And Luke Singh, despite the fact that Omar Gonzalez is not starting, Luke Singh is nowhere to be seen. He's down with TFC 2. Jaden Nelson is now TFC 2. And the thing that made that game hurt the most was we lost 3-2 to Nashville, and Nelson and Luke Singh both score for TFC 2 as they win 2-0. TFC 2 is, for once, having a not terrible season, and are actually doing better in League One than Toronto FC are doing in MLS, because the kids are there and the kids are good. But this whole play the kids, play the kids, play the kids, that was what they were instilling throughout the whole winter break. That's what they were telling us they were going to do. And now Chris Armas isn't playing the kids. Ralph Priso. Look at Ralph Priso. He's fantastic. He is ready to be playing center midfield regularly in Major League Soccer. He's not right now. He was at the beginning of the season. You know what the best game Toronto FC had all season was? It was the second leg against Club Leon. You want to know what they did the second leg against Club Leon? The kids all played. Akello, Priso, Singh, Schaffelberg, all were crucial parts of that game. The one time you actually play the kids was your best game all season! And now you're not playing them. Like, I get wanting to lean on your more expensive older players, but like play Delgado in position. You don't have a natural right winger besides Endo and DeLeon and Marshall Ruddy. Oh, so put Marshall Ruddy in. I get he's only 16, but he's good. He has ability. Put him in it sometimes. Put Nelson. Where is Nelson? Soteldo is hurt now. Right now, Soteldo is injured, and Nelson and Schaffelberg are nowhere to be seen recently in the TFC starting lineup. I mean, Azorio is a great option on the left side, but you have an abundance of left guys. You don't have right guys. Put Azorio on the right. He's good enough. He can play over there. Throw Schaffelberg. Throw Nelson. Put someone. Just play the younger guys in the position, because all you're doing by not playing them is harming their own development, and then either A, decreasing the quality of player that you end up with, or B, decreasing their selling value if you do choose to sell them, or C, having them just walk somewhere else for nothing. Ridiculous. And the final point of 4 in the Chris Armas tragedy, probably the biggest one, the biggest media one. Jozy Altidore. Altidore, starting the season, hurt a couple times. Okay, that's Jozy Altidore. That happens with Jozy Altidore. And believe me, right now, I'm not the biggest let's go Jozy Altidore fan. He's had some moments, and the fact that he's taking up a designated player spot when he really has been scoring less than Patrick Mullins in the past 2 seasons is concerning to me. However, he is still your designated player. You're still paying him to be a designated player, which means that if he's healthy and he's available, you play him. So, about a month ago, in I forget which game it was, Chris Armas subs Jozy off in the 70th minute for Ayo Akinola. That's good. You know what? I like that. Ayo Akinola probably should have been starting. He's our #1 striker right now. He's better than Jozy Altidore right now. Altidore gets mad. I don't know why. This was bad on Altidore. He should not be mad that he, who hasn't played a full 90 minutes since I don't even remember when, because he's always injured, is getting mad about being subbed off in the 70th minute. The fact that he made it to the 70th minute is a bit of a miracle. So I'm not sure why Jozy Altidore was upset there. I mean, I guess he, as a designated player, you know, as one of the most capped players for the U.S. men's national team ever, he's got a bit of an ego to him, obviously, when it comes to MLS soccer. But, you know, as a coach, you deal with it. Greg Vanny never had a problem with Jozy Altidore. He didn't play Jozy Altidore sometimes, choosing to play Ayo Akinola. Never had a problem with him. After that argument, Chris Armas says to Jozy Altidore to train by himself. He's not training with the team. And that was over a month ago. And Jozy Altidore, he's not hurt. Apparently, he's still training by himself, or even if he is even training, and hasn't made an appearance since then. And Chris Armas has basically just decided that Jozy Altidore is no longer a part of this team. Which, like, I get it. I get that Jozy Altidore can be a very frustrating figure. I mean, he's very frustrating to us fans right now. He's the classic example of you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Had he retired after 2017 or had he left TFC after 2017, he would have been put on a pedestal. But now he's dragged on, signed a new contract till the end of next season in 2022, so we still have more time on his contract as a designated player, which we only have 3 of in MLS. And like, to be a designated player and to be hurt as much as he is a drag on the team. But when he's healthy, to not play him willingly, why are you paying him, I think now $3.5 million a season? A designated player contract. Why are you paying a designated player contract and then you're benching him? He's still remnants of the Jozy Altidore that we used to have. Jozy Altidore, even right now, what he still had is still our number 2 striker behind Ayo Akinola. And he's just fully benched because of a disagreement. You're benching your star, your biggest name player, your highest paid player, your highest club reputation player in terms of what they've done with the club, over a disagreement that you subbed him off 20 minutes before the end of the game. And it's been a month and you're still isolating him from the team? Why? Like, I don't understand why. I get being mad at Jozy Altidore. I get being mad at Jozy Altidore. He's a frustrating guy to deal with, especially right now. But to bench him? Not even to bench him, to just throw him to the side for over a month? It's Jozy freaking Altidore. It doesn't matter how good he's been. If he's healthy, he's around the squad. He doesn't have to start. He could be a super sub. Jozy Altidore would be an ideal super sub right now in MLS. Limits the amount of time he can get hurt. He's rested when he comes on while everyone else is tired. I don't think Jozy can play a full 20 minutes right now. I don't think Jozy can play, a full 90 minutes right now. I don't think he can play a full game, a full 2 halves. But to play him half an hour a game when you're down, because you've been down a lot this season because you haven't been good, that makes sense. Throw on Altidore and Akinola. But now what are you doing? You keep something on Patrick Mullins? You're down a goal. You're down a goal. And you're subbing on Patrick Mullins for Ayo Akinola half the time. Why? You can put Jozy Altidore on if you wanted to. But you don't want him in the squad. Instead, you want Patrick Mullins. It doesn't matter if you've had an argument with Jozy Altidore. Any Jozy Altidore is over Patrick Mullins because Jozy Altidore, he still is Jozy Altidore. He's not the same Jozy Altidore, but he still is Jozy Altidore. He still is a designated player. What the heck do you think management is thinking? What do you think MLSC is thinking? That Jozy Altidore, the guy who you spent so much money on, the guy that you straight swapped your biggest signing ever in Jermaine Defoe for. I mean, we don't talk about Jermaine Defoe because he was bad. Giovinco was the biggest signing, but you straight swapped Jermaine Defoe for Jozy Altidore. Jozy Altidore has been around this team last year, or 2 years ago, after 2019. You have TFC coming to you and saying, we need an extra $4 million a year for the next 3 years to keep Jozy Altidore around. And you're like, yeah. I mean, he's been hurt a lot, but yes, he's Jozy Altidore. And now you have MLSD looking and they're like, why is Jozy Altidore, the top paid guy on Toronto FC, not playing games? Like, as much as the star player syndrome can take over some guys, make them think that they're hot cheese or whatever, it does actually mean that they can do a bit more and get away with a bit more than lesser fringe players. Like, yeah, if it's Dom Dwyer, who's just been there and signed on a cheap-ass contract, complaining about his playtime, get rid of him. Jozy Altidore? Club legend Jozy Altidore. Designated player Jozy Altidore. You play. I'm sorry. You can make a point of starting Akinola in the next couple of games over him after that. But you still keep him around the squad. You don't wait a month later and have him still not training with the squad. And now what? Now TFC is saying, oh, we are open to getting rid of Jozy Altidore. If you're any other team in MLS and you look at Toronto FC and you look at Jozy Altidore's situation right now and you really say, yes, I would like to waste a designated player spot on one Jozy Altidore, please. No, you don't. So TFC, probably until the end of Altidor's contract now, is stuck with Josie Altidore. So who goes first? Does Chris Armas go first? Or does Josie Altidore take up a designated player spot and not play for the next 2 years? And this has been a tough season for TFC. They're playing down in Florida. They're not at home. Hopefully they'll be at home soon. They should be at home soon, I hope. They need to come home just to get BMO Field on them. They just need to be at home, There's a different vibe when you're at home versus when you're in a hotel room for months on end with no idea when you're going back home. And that obviously has a big mental toll on them and it's probably affecting their performances and whatnot. On top of the fact that they have a new coach who is making poor decisions. That really, two things, just piling on top of each other to make things worse for TFC than it needs to be. And Chris Armas, honestly, I think for Chris Armas, being in Florida is the best thing for him because he's isolated from the media. He's hidden. As a team, Toronto FC is being a lot less, transparent than they usually are when they're in Toronto and the media is right here asking them questions face to face. Because they're down in Orlando. Our media is here. The only way they communicate with the media and with the fans is through socials and through Zoom. So they can kind of hide. And they don't really have to fully explain all their decisions or anything. They're kind of just hiding in the shadow in Orlando, not in the Toronto limelight. And that's, I think, for Chris Armas, especially, that's definitely the only reason why Chris Armas is not on as hot of a seat as he is because of that. The Chris Armas hot seat is definitely heating up, but just with the situation Toronto FC is in, look at what happened to Thierry Henry in Montreal. It is very difficult to get a coach to commit to play for a team that's living in a hotel, that's thousands of miles, hundreds of miles away from their true home. That's down in Florida when they should be in Toronto. So it's just so difficult because of that situation to find a new coach now that Chris Armas, I think, is here for at least until Toronto FC comes back to Toronto. That's it. So Chris Armas isn't the guy for Toronto FC. He's not. But what do we do about it right now? We can ask for him to get fired. Maybe. I don't know. We have been asking for him to get fired. Armas out has been trending since game 1 of the season. We're now 11 games. 9 MLS games plus 4 Champions League games. We're 13 games in. We've won 2 of them. But take away the Lyon win. Take away that magical Lyon win. Wrecked by Cruz Azul. 1, 2, and 6 in Major League Soccer. It's not good enough. Wait till Pozuelo came back. Pozuelo came back. First game he played out of his mind. They still lost. Play Westberg instead of Bono. Westberg finally plays. Second game that he's in, he plays out of his mind. Saves 4 sure goals. They still lose. One more. The whole team, the whole mentality behind the team, the brains behind the team, which is Chris Armas, has to change because on paper, Kamar Lawrence, Jefferson Sotelo, Alejandro Pozuelo, Osorio, Akinola, great players, should be playing far better than this. Far, far better than second last in the Eastern Conference. This team should be a shoo-in for the playoffs. And they're sitting at the bottom of the table. It's embarrassing. And it all tracks back to Chris Armas. He's the only one. So, either Armas is out, or TFC's out of the playoffs. And that decision has to be made ASAP. Because if we keep waiting, if we're 15, 20 games into the season, and they switch Armas out, it's too late. 2019 showed us that a huge run starting in August can take you to the playoffs. But they need to make that soon because we're a month out from August. So the next month, Armas is gone in the next month or the playoffs are gone. It's one or the other. MLSE, Bill Manning, Ali Curtis, you have very little time to realize that this isn't working, I'd start interviewing for new coaches right now. So, thank you guys for watching. That is my probably longer than I expected it to be Chris Armas rant, but you know, he's been such a major disaster this season that I think a longer than expected rant is well used, well accustomed for this video. So, as always, if you like this video, hit like. If you want to see more of my stuff, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Link is down below in the description. Check out my CONCACAF Champions League. Not Champions League. No, my CONCACAF Gold Cup predictions video. That tournament's starting in 2 weeks. I'm really excited. CPL is starting tomorrow. I'm super, super excited. I'm not making a predictions video for that or a preview because what the heck is going on? It's been a lot of months since anyone's played in that tournament. I have no clue, honestly. I don't want to look like a dumbass when the standings coming out. Forge is my favorite to win. York should be good. Atletico Ottawa should be really good. Calgary is going to be a bit down from what they usually are. Pacific is a wild card. Halifax is a wild card. I don't know about Edmonton. They might be bad. Winnipeg, I don't know. They might be bad. But, you know, that's a quick 2-second CPL prediction. But yeah, enjoy Canadian soccer. That's not TFC starting up because that's going to be far more entertaining than whatever the heck this TFC is. Thank God the Gold Cup is being played during MLS because I don't want to watch TFC right now. Give me Gold Cup, please. Bye-bye. See y'all.